Welcome to another episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes. And man, we got to start the show off with some very, 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 very sad news.
Yeah.
We had a passing today in the wrestling world. Um, and man, it really it caught me off guard. This man was 36 years old, and he was talked about a lot recently, wondering where he was going and why he was not around the world anymore. And for those of you that don't know, we are talking about none other than Bray Wyatt himself. Um, it's it's sad, man. Like I was texting a friend today after you told me you busted the news to
Mm,
me, and
yeah.
I told Patrick
Awful.
and I
Yeah.
and I sent it to him, and he said I didn't even know. So it was like a boom, 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 and he said, there's been a few deaths in the wrestling world that have hit me, and he said Piper and Eddie Guerrero, and to me it was always Eddie Guerrero and Owen Hart. Those were the two that hit me hard. But hearing that, you know, today at 36 and so unexpectedly and everything else, I think this one might be up there with those two, if not worse. And just the fact that we were just talking about him a few weeks ago about how we wanted to see him come back and what he would do and what he can do and
Yeah.
how we want him to come back, and we wanted the Fiend and that he just isn't being used like his character could work and this and that. And man, like and it stinks because we just had Terry Funk pass, and he was older and still died young. But you know what I mean? It's just when you're 36, you got to think I'm 42, man. Like that's a lot. That's like almost before my kids would barely even be alive right now. If I would have passed that 36, and you sent me a thing now that they've officially said that he had COVID complications that affected his heart and gave him heart issues, which led to a heart attack, which even kills me even more because there are so many people who think COVID is fake and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and it's taken so many lives. So you got to be overweight or old or not athletic or blah blah, whatever else they're saying. And this can take anyone. I mean, Bray was super healthy, super in shape. I know he was a little bit more bloated than what people said for a rep, but he was in shape. Dude was muscular, went in the ring, and it's just insane to me that 36 years old to pass of a heart attack is like even more. I think when you sent that to me, I was even more heartbroken
Yeah.
than I could. And you like he has a fiance and JoJo. Supposedly he had 4 kids, and I think he just had one recently. I mean, his whole family's in the business. Poor Bo Dallas and just everyone. I just want to say, from Two Dudes with Attitudes, and I'll let Shooting Star talk, but it's we just our well wishes and everything, prayers, whatever you do, whatever you believe in, to that whole family, to his friends, to his children, to JoJo, his parents, his
Yeah.
everybody in the wrestling world who love him, because there's always passings, right? And it's always worse when it happens to really good people. And you only ever heard phenomenal things about Bray. No bad things were ever said about him. And on my last note is that just I don't think I'll ever forget. We just talked about this week, right? His entrance. I
Yeah.
had him. It was one of the
Mm,
greatest entrances, and I was telling everybody to go back and watch it. This was like less than a week ago, right? I forget.
yeah.
It
It
was
was
like the last
last
episode,
our last W. Yeah.
yeah,
Last week.
WWE.
Yeah.
To go check out that, and I think you should do it again because he was a special person and did amazing things. And rest in peace.
Yeah. I mean, it's. It was. I'm gutted by this. Like I'm literally at a loss for words. I almost texted you to say that I didn't want to
Hmm.
do the podcast tonight because it's going to be hard to. We're going to be talking about AEW and we're going to be critiquing AEW, and it's going to be hard to do all that in the lighthearted and fun way that we normally do, knowing that somebody that we've watched over the last few years passed away. And the
Hmm.
fact that he was 36 and I'm 37, so it kind of makes me
So that,
question
yeah.
my mortality, and it makes me question just everything like that. And the fact that if it was, I mean, it's been reported that it was COVID complications, and it led to heart issues, and that was the serious illness that kept him away from TV when he left after shortly before WrestleMania. And I was disappointed I wasn't going to see him at WrestleMania. I still never got to see Bray Wyatt in person.
Oh,
Never got to see that entrance in person, and all something I've always wanted to see. And yeah, unfortunately now I'll never get to see it. So it was, yeah, I mean, 36 years old. This one's going to hurt for a while. And I think I was talking about him just yesterday in our WWE episode because I really wanted to see him come back. I thought the lights would go off when Edge retired and he was going to be the one to attack Edge and all was going to be well with Bray Wyatt. And here we are, not just about 24 hours later, and we're talking about the man in the past tense because he's passed away. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. And condolences to his family, his brother, to everybody that knew him, his friends, all of them, because and thank you, Bray, for entertaining us. You went from Husky Harris to the Wyatt family to the Fiend to Wyatt Six. Just this man was so creative and was such a visionary in wrestling. And yeah, we lost a good one. We lost a good one.
Yeah. So athletic. That back bend that he did when he did a creepy little back bend in the corners and stuff, like that's something I was never able to do. It's just insane how athletic he was. And, I want to say I saw him perform live a couple times. I had the honor of seeing that. And I saw him at a SummerSlam out here when it used to be at, what is it called?
LA
now? Crypto. Yeah. Crypto.com arena. It was Staples, but yeah. And there was no cooler moment than his entrance when those lights went out and we all had our cell phones out. It was so real how much you lit up that thing and just hearing his music. And it was a great moment. So, from two dudes with attitudes, rest in peace to Windham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, man, and to everybody impacted by his death.
Yeah, you will certainly be missed. And again, condolences to everybody. So now we're gonna move on and talk AEW, which is gonna be hard to do, but I think we need to play our song, get us amped a little bit, and we'll go right into Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite.
Let's go.
It's the two dudes with the attitudes, let's go. On the Friday, you know what it is, man, they came to handle biz. Two dudes with attitudes, and they came to get it in. If you wanna hear it all, yeah, you in the right place. Going through the highs and lows at a pretty calm pace. This is where they talk to all elite, Dynamite and Rampage. All the other news on your timelines or your page. Shooting star press like it's mad side down. MWO, and yeah, they here to hold it down. Had to kick a rhyme just to tell you about the show. From the TikToks or the shorts, they will bring the smoke. And yeah, it's the dudes like it's Sean and it's Diesel. Live on the Twitch, YouTube for the review. Show them all the love on the platform you using. 5-star rating now, there is no excuses. Welcome back or welcome for the first show. Two dudes with the attitudes, time to work, bro.
All right. By the way, I don't know if you can, but we should end our show with Bray Wyatt's new theme song. That theme song is a freaking banger.
Let's see if I can find it.
If you can. But anyway, welcome to a new AEW episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes of Wrestling podcast. As always, I'm Mr. MWO. And with me, as always, is the honorary dude, that man with the We Are Wrestle Talk shirt himself, right. Mr. Shooting Star Press. Obviously, we already know what kind of moods we're in, but everything else going all right.
Yeah. It's here we are. We're on the road to Wembley Stadium. All In is upon us, and so it's going to be hard to break it down and talk about it with everything that happened. But I think that's what Bray would want. He loved wrestling, and I think he would want us to do this. So let's get into it.
But before we go, so Wembley has some exciting news, right? They are claiming how many seats they filled. So when we did this, we were saying originally that they could have 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80. This is like when they first started selling tickets. And we literally were like, all right, there's whatever they get, it's going to be a huge landmark, right? We don't have to try to do 90. We don't have to do 80, 100, whatever. Just anything 50 and above is a win. And now they are claiming they have the biggest gate of all time, most highest attendance of any wrestling show ever, or so on. So what are they? What are their numbers?
So
it's exciting no matter what, but what's their numbers?
Yeah, they have set the attendance and revenue record for a professional wrestling event, and they have an estimated or reported 80,846 tickets have been distributed that's as of August 18th. So that today is August the 24th. So
and they could even go up more in a week.
Yeah. And that overtook WrestleMania 32, which took place in Dallas, of 80,709. So that's still a monumental number for AEW, the company that's only 4 years old, for them to have sold that many tickets for Wembley Stadium. So
yeah,
kudos to them.
Congrats,
Yeah.
DK. Congrats. And it has a 10 a.m. Western time for me. So you're getting it at
1 p.m.
So it's
Eastern.
early.
Yeah, 6 p.m. UK
Sunday.
time. Yeah, and then 10 a.m. for you guys in Cali.
So I gotta wake up early and get on my Bleacher Report app because I can't even like download pay-per-views anymore and get this. They need a streaming device. All right, so let's kick in. Let's kick into this. Obviously, we're not doing Rampage and Collision right beforehand, but we're gonna get into the Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite that have happened to lead up to All In. And I want to start off with Rampage. Rampage, once again, it's cooking. It's doing good. It gets the point across. It builds up what they need to do in that hour. I still think it's the most utilized hour in AEW. I mean, the other 2 hours are kind of sometimes all over the place. They kind of get to where they need to go. But I want to talk about Aussie Open, man, because I don't think, unless, and I know Tony Khan thinks everybody knows who everybody is, but for the most part, unless you're like a hardcore AEW fan, you probably didn't know who Aussie Open was. So when MJF and Adam Cole called them out for the ROH tag team titles, people were probably like, eh. So I think it was nice, and it started on Rampage. Now, obviously, we know going on to the shows, they got some more airtime. They got another win as well on Dynamite or Collision. They got another win on one of them.
Dynamite, yeah.
Dynamite, yeah. And I liked it. I thought it was a really good win. I thought they looked good. And they got it against Brother Zane, your boy, your favorite AEW wrestler, superstar Ethan Page. And they got a good win. But not only that, but Brother Zay and Ethan Page didn't lay down. They got some input in. So, and I liked it because I think that made the Aussie Open win look even better, beating two kind of credible people in a tag team, although Brother Zay is doing a stupid moaning. But I thought it was great. I thought it was a good way to kickstart, their match coming up. They cut a good promo afterwards where they ain't going to get kangaroo kicked and they're not getting double clotheslined and they're coming out as the ROH tag team champions, although we're getting to our predictions earlier, but I think it's about a 0.0% chance. But I like it. I like what they're doing with it. Good job, and way to make them feel important before they wrestle probably the two biggest AEW superstars today.
Yeah, I liked everything about this. I thought I was going to be so pissed if they came out and lost. They don't need to be losing right before the the match of their life, which is on a pre-show, which is crazy to think that the biggest match of their career is on a pre-show. But this is this was well done. Dynamite too. They look great on Dynamite. They got some. They even got to attack MJF and Adam Cole on Dynamite as well. So that was kind of nice to see. Which we'll get into that, but. Yeah, Aussie Open looked good, and they look credible. I mean, Ethan, like you said, Ethan Page and Brother Isaiah Cassidy, they didn't lie down. They got some offense in, but yeah, Aussie Open stood their ground, and they have a nice finisher too. I like their finisher a lot, and they hit it beautifully, and got that 3 count. And so, curious to see what happens at 0 hour. I'm still curious to see if somebody's going to turn, if we'll get into that with predictions, but I thought it was very important for Aussie Open to get a much needed victory. And you're right, I don't think a lot of people, if you're a casual wrestling fan, you probably don't know much about Aussie Open because they're on Ring of Honor, and if you're not watching Ring of Honor, you don't know who they are. So I'm glad that they're getting some shine on Dynamite and Rampage and everything for now. Because again, a lot of people, I didn't know who they were. I was like, who's Aussie? I kept thinking this was AR Fox, and because but it wasn't. It's Aussie Open, and I'm just glad to see them getting some shine and getting some offense in before the big match of their career.
I agree, and they give me an FTR vibe.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Like them a lot.
I get an FTR vibe from them. I don't know why, but yeah. All right.
Yeah. So for me, I really like the show closing match of Rampage, the Hikaru Shida and Sky Blue versus Tony Storm and Ruby Soho. The Outcasts, they're back together. They went away there for a little bit. I'm glad they're back together, but it was kind of a weird. Saraya disappeared from our screens for a while. Ruby Soho, we hadn't seen her since she lost in the Owen Hart Invitational. And now they're back together, and they're beating everybody up. They're beating everybody down. They, they're looking good. They're clicking. They seem to be clicking on all cylinders again. And I thought this was a fun way to end the match. I like the fact that Britt Baker came out there at the end to even the odds, and there was a brawl. She came to make the save and fight alongside Sky Blue and Sheeta, and they closed the show with an all-out brawl. I didn't like. I don't know how I feel about Sheeta and Sky Blue getting the victory. I understand that she is the women's champion, but and I'm glad it wasn't Toni Storm that took the pin. It was Ruby Soho, but still, I don't. They could have just ended this with a double count out or a no contest or something. I didn't like that a team had to lose this match, but the right decision, I guess, because you don't want your champion losing going into a fatal four-way. You can't have her taking a pin, but it was just, and Ruby Soho is not in the match. So I guess it made sense, but I still think the odds should be in the favor of the Outcast, because there's two of them in the fatal four-way. So they should look the strongest of anybody, and the champion should look the most vulnerable. So having Ruby Soho take a pin it was kind of a meh moment, but nonetheless, at the end of the day, not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. But I thought it was a fun way to end Rampage. I like the brawl that ended the show, and I'm curious to see what happens at All In.
Yeah, and I'm still hoping for a Britt Baker turn. I mean, I know the Outcasts aren't as in as they were, but I would love to see Britt Baker join the Outcasts, especially if it's all three of them. Come on, that's pretty good. I mean, they both Ruby talked about, or one of them, Saraya, someone talked about how or Toni Storm, I forgot who it was, that I don't even care who wins as long as the belt's coming home to the Outcast. And then now Ruby Soho, all of a sudden, after taking a loss and being irrelevant, is now coming back to heading for the TNT or the TBS title. Is what she's claiming now, that she wants that belt. So I'm all for it, man. Let's get this ball rolling. But I gotta say, I like Sky Blue, man. I mean, she a cutie patootie. I like her blue vibe with her blue hair and her outfit. I think she can go in the ring. I think she's super underrated. And I know she's been getting some praise and some love, and she's getting big matches. She's not getting a lot of singles wins, but she's getting there, and her name's out there, and she's wrestling with and against big people. So I dig it, man. So I dug all of this around Rampage. I like that Rampage will have these stars. We got Aussie Open out there, who are going to face, the two greatest AEW superstars in the world right now. We got Britt Baker and Outcast and Sheeta and Sky all on your screen. I mean, it was just a solid night of Rampage.
And Sammy Guevara was there. He had a match.
Good match.
So
quick, right? But it was much match nonetheless.
Yeah, and if you're into the Rampage had a little bit of everything for everybody. I thought if you like the high flying stuff, Ray Fenix beat Commander. What was a fun match to open the show, and then like you said, Aussie Open was there, the stars were there, Sammy Guevara was there, some of the pillars were there, Britt Baker and Sammy. So Rampage is doing its thing.
I agree, and it always leads right into the next night or Dynamite. So we go into Collision, and I actually thought this might be maybe not. I don't know. The Dynamite moment I'm going to talk about was pretty good, but this was definitely top 3. In my opinion, best moments of AEW this week. And once again, I got to say it, AEW had a better week than WWE again, back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back.
There you go, AEW. We ain't crapping on you anymore.
And they needed it. They needed to have, going into all the biggest show in wrestling history, they had to have a better week than WWE.
See, and I don't know if it was that good. It was a good week. Dynamite was good. I give it an 8, but Dynamite should probably be a 9.5 going into All In.
Yeah, that's
biggest card ever. But nonetheless, and Collision was a 7, 6, and it wasn't the best, but it was good. It was still better because WWE is they're rolling around the 5.5s right now. But I want to talk about Christian Cage and Darby Allin. So Christian Cage rocked out with his TNT championship, although this was a non-title match, obviously building up, and he wore his turtleneck and cut off shirt. There was a good moment where Darby pulled his turtleneck over his head. He couldn't see or whatever. He was funny. And had to pull it back down. But this match was a banger, man. This was old versus new, doing their damn thing. Darby, him and Jungle Boy I haven't always latched onto. I know they're the pillars, but I haven't latched onto them. Now I'm slowly starting to get them. But Darby, I don't think he's going to have a long career. I think we're going to talk about a little talk later on between Jericho and Will Ospreay, and I think someone needs to have that talk with Darby Allin. But it's bro, you need to help. There was a couple moves that Christian did to him where I literally cringed big time, a few, and there's so many I can't even remember them all, but just with his head getting thrown around and
Oh
just
my gosh, yeah.
doing coffin drops on the side of the ring apron, and like it's brutal. But this match literally had it all, and yeah, man, I like it. I like who won. I like the beatdown afterwards. I like just this really gave me hope and everything, and I'm kind of interested on where it's all going to go. I mean, this was like one of my. I really want Luchasaurus to win just because I really, really dig Luchasaurus and Christian together. I think it's working. I think we're understanding it now. When before we weren't sure if Luchasaurus was okay with him claiming he's the champ, but obviously he is. Luchasaurus is just the henchman. He's like, whatever, you're the champ. I'll just kick everyone's butt and defend it, but you're the champ. It's really, really good stuff. The aftermath was good. I liked even the aftermath of everything that I really just liked everything that happened in this match. And yeah, it probably my top two moment. Probably my top two, but top three for sure of AEW for the week.
Yeah, and Christian Cage, man, we gotta give him props. The man's 49 years old, and he's putting on hella great matches like that, and he looks like $1 million in the ring. This was
body of a 30-year-old.
Yeah, this was a fun, entertaining match. And unfortunately, he took a pinfall, but it's not going to hurt him in the grand scheme of things because he's not really the champion. So, it's Luchasaurus. But yeah, I mean, do I think this is a coincidence or purely intentional that he main evented Collision the night after Edge main evented SmackDown on his retirement match? I think it was pure intentional on Tony Khan's part. I think he was like, "Oh, we'll raise you. We'll take your Edge and we'll raise you Christian." But no, but man, Christian Cage he's not only is he great on the mic, but he is fantastic in the ring. And yeah, this match was everything. I mean, it was a banger. And yeah, Christian Cage again, $1 million in the ring. I like the one part too where, like you were talking about with Luchasaurus, there was one part where Darby Allin went for the coffin drop, and Luchasaurus took one for Christian Cage. He moved Christian Cage out of the way and made Darby Allin fall like right on his neck or something. I was like, ooh, that was a hard fall right into the barricade. So yeah, I liked it all. I thought this match was great. It was a great way to end what was the start, because I always consider Collision the start of the week for AEW. Rampage is kind of the end of the week, and Collision is the start of the new AEW week. And I thought this was a good start for the week for AEW.
Agreed.
I don't even want to talk about CM Punk dressed up as Masked Rider or whatever the Golden Bee or whatever his name was in the opening.
I appreciate that.
To outsmart Samoa Joe and hit him with accepted his challenge for All In. But I did want to talk about the Golden Vampire was his character name in this.
Okay.
But I want to talk about Ricky Starks, because Ricky Starks, this is something that I'm not really feeling right now. So last week on Collision, Ricky Starks was suspended for 30 days. Tony Schiavone made it perfectly clear to say 30 days he's suspended. But Ricky Starks said, "I'll show you. I went online and got my manager's license, and apparently, you can be a manager in AEW just by getting a certificate somehow." And all of a sudden, randomly on Collision this week, he's managing Big Bill of all people. Like, you couldn't have put him back with Powerhouse Hobbs. You couldn't, and Powerhouse Hobbs is feuding with Miro and injected some life into that feud. You imagine Ricky Starks trying to whip with his belt Miro, and Miro's not going to take that. So but this week on Collision, it's revealed that not only is he not suspended for 30 days, he's only suspended for 28 days, which so happened to fall. 4 weeks, but so happens to fall right there on AEW All Out, which takes place in Chicago the week after All In. But now he's managing Big Bill of all people, and Big Bill had a squash match, and after the match they beat somebody down, but with the belt. So I don't know. I wasn't really feeling this. I like Ricky Starks. I don't know what they're doing with Ricky Starks. Why is he not he's not going to be at All In?
Maybe he will.
Yeah. And he was upset about being suspended, but he's already served half of the suspension, even though he was only suspended for a week. And it just feels like this was all, it felt like he wasn't taking it seriously, even though he was supposed to be taking it seriously, if that makes sense. And then, he promised that he was going to bring a war to CM Punk's front door, and he meant every word. And then he decided to go and get Big Bill. Big Bill comes out, and they beat down some guy. Derek Neal was the guy's name. He gets mauled. Big Bill grabs him, pins him, chokeslam, boot on the chest, 1, 2, 3. And then afterwards, they beat him down with the belt, the same belt that they make sure to point out. It's the same belt that he used to beat Ricky Steamboat down with. So I wasn't feeling this. Well, what is this leading to? Big Bill's not on the card for All In. Ricky Starks isn't on the card, obviously, for All In. Ricky Starks is money. Ricky Starks is a star in AEW, and he's not on the biggest show of the year. I know that he's probably going to be at All Out, but what's this leading to? I don't know. I don't know. Is the suspension necessary? I don't think so. I think it's just a way to say you're not going to be at All In, but you'll be at All Out. Just don't have him show up at All In. And there you go. But
yeah,
I don't know. This just feels weird, and I'm not really feeling it all that much. I want to see Ricky Starks back in the ring, and I like the heel version of Ricky Starks. I like the new edgier version of him, but not managing Big Bill. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling this. This just feels like a random pairing. You talk about throwing something against the wall to see what sticks. I think this is exactly what that is.
This is all of that, and this is kind of what WWE and AEW are doing currently. It's just kind of winging it. But here's the thing, right? When they said he was going to be a manager, I thought for sure that he was going to manage Samoa Joe in the match. And that
would have made sense
too.
So
why that should have been the only thing. I got a manager license. He comes out with Samoa Joe. He doesn't have to announce it. He can just come out with him. And that would make sense. Win or lose with CM Punk, at least he did his part, right? It's building the feud, because obviously they started 2 feuds and now they're like lost and confused, so they don't know what the hell to do with Starks. And the thing is too, is that why can't he just wrestle other people and beat? He didn't have to get suspended, and he could build himself up more and build himself back up while CM Punk is feuding, if that's what you want to do, and then have them meet again. But here's my thing, right? The only way that this suspension is relevant, and we'll get into the predictions later, is that if he costs CM Punk his fake title, you know what I mean? And that's, real title. That's the only way that that's relevant. Because other than that, then what was the point? Because a week later, he's already back from a suspension. So what? They just took him off. Like I said, you don't have to take him off TV to have him and Samoa Joe feud for one more match. They could have him wrestle somebody else until then. Having him paired up with Big Bill was stupid. 28 days is stupid. No one's getting suspended for 28 days. Everything about it is stupid, and it kind of bums me out because, like you said, dude, is money. Money. So what can you do? What can you do?
I didn't like that at all. I thought that was the one miss on a pretty solid collision for AEW. And I don't know what they're doing. I don't like it. Like, is Big Bill the sacrificial lamb out of all this? Once Ricky Starks is wrestling again, does he turn on him? Does he turn him to see?
We'll never see him again.
Yeah. Is he just going to disappear?
This was just
or
we're not going to see him again. 100%. That's an AEW special right there. But going into Dynamite, we had some good stuff, and I got something good to talk about. I want to talk about what I thought was my number one segment of all of wrestling for the week. All of it. I was praising this guy last week because you said you weren't feeling him. You didn't say you hated him. You didn't say it was bad. So I'm not going to say that.
I just don't see enough of
haters. The haters will say that. You know what I mean? Because if you say anything that's not positive about someone, you hate them. But this dude is a flipping star. Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay had a contract signing. And I'm going to go out on a ledge here. I'm going to say it. This was the most perfect contract signing I have ever witnessed.
Oh, wow.
Ever. And here's why. Are you ready? Contract signings are always the same. People come out, they grumble, they sit. One kicks their feet up on the table. The other one throws the pin. One is anti-signing. One is pro-signing. One blah, blah, blah. Then once they both sign, wrestler A says something mean to wrestler B, thus wrestler B flips over the table, thus causing a fight. They fight, contract signing, the end. This had none of that. This had a Jericho entrance, a Will Ospreay entrance. They both had people. I know Don Callis, although his heat was not Dominic Mysterio heat this week. He got booed here and there, but Dom straight got booed in a backstage promo on. Did you see that on Raw? He was straight just like, "Hey, mommy, I think," and they were booing him in a backstage promo.
They
Like
put
that
him on
dude,
NXT too.
that guy gets but I mean a backstage promo where he's not even like, he was just like answering who he thinks should wrestle. I'm glad you're finally admitting that Y2J is. I'm not admitting he's the greatest of all time, but I did tell you, Patrick, that I consider putting him in my top 5 now for Sheezy. No, he can't be better than the person he idolized and made his career based off of, and that's Shawn Michaels. So, and still to this day, that's Y2J's greatest feud ever. I don't care what anybody says. I know he's had some good ones, and I know the list and Kevin Owens, but that Y2J and HBK, that went for a year. That thing was epic. That threw you through the Jericho-tron. That was, yeah. But anyway, back to the thing. This thing, Jericho brought it, cut a hell of a promo, talking about things how, without him, there is no Will Ospreay. That he, nobody wanted him. He was putting his life in danger. People said he was going to die in a few years wrestling because he was like Darby Allin, hit. And he said no and called him and saved him and put his name out there and got him into New Japan Wrestling. And then Will Ospreay and his awful accent that was super intimidating with his, with his tight jersey on, just straight cut a hell, like a 3.5 minute promo.
Yeah, it was good.
Fire. It was fire. And that's what I was saying. We didn't need Sammy and Don Callis at all. I don't know why they even came out. Don Callis being with Will Ospreay is stupid anyway, but Will Ospreay cut a hell of a promo. It was just fire. I loved it. And the passion between both men going back and forth. And then it ended with a possible fight, but it didn't happen. They had everything in the makings of a perfect contract signing. And I'm going to be honest with you. That made me want to buy All In. I'm not even going to lie. I want to see MJF and Adam Cole, yes. But, which you'll probably talk about later, that MJF and Adam Cole didn't get me as hyped up in their promos and their segment than this did. This got me more hyped up for any card going on in All In. I am super, and this just got announced that night. It's got announced then, basically, right? I mean, I think last week it was
the attack,
yeah, but this was basically like, hey, this match is happening. Holy cow! I'm all in on this match, and I think this is going to be a moment for Will Ospreay because he just announced that his New Japan Wrestling contract is ending, which I think hint. He's going to beat Jericho and come on over to AEW, and Shooting Star Press is finally going to see who the true greatest wrestler in the world is currently. So, and now he can cut a promo, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll be honest. Like I don't pay much attention because I don't watch New Japan, so I don't really know much about Will Ospreay other than the times we see him at Forbidden Door against Kenny Omega, and I've been impressed when I've seen him. I just don't see enough of him to say that he's one of the greats in the industry, but. That promo last night was fire. It was all of it was good. I love the passion that he brought. I like that he talked about his New Japan contract being up. I like that he said that I like that they brought up history. I know we don't really we dog AEW for talking about the WWE all the time, but he brought up former New Japan guys and stuff that he's done in the past. He said that he's going to be the only guy who can say that he's beaten Kenny Omega, Okada, and Chris Jericho all in a span of 2 months, and that's going to make a difference in 6 months when his New Japan contract is up. And he knows he's the best wrestler in the world. He's better than the Elite. He's better than Danielson. He's better than CM Punk, and he's better than Chris Jericho himself.
Awesome.
It was great. It was good stuff. It was passionate. You could tell he was really feeling it. Jericho was fire as well. He brought it. Like you said, he said that he wouldn't have accomplished any of the stuff that he did without him. This was great. They had a week to build this, and they sold me on it in that week. This was perfect. This is exactly what you should do. They just Will Ospreay came out last week when Jericho was going to join the Don Callis family, and it was all a ruse because Don Callis had a picture of Jericho it was Don Callis holding Chris Jericho's head, and he was like, "Are you going to murder me if I join your group, or what are you going to do? Are you going to behead me?" And then all of a sudden, Will Ospreay attacked him, and it was just kind of like, "Huh? Like what's Will?" So I'm with you. Don Callis being with Will Ospreay when he's also feuding with Kenny Omega, again, AEW kind of gets in its own way with the double booking, but they had to really convince me about this match, and they did. They damn sure did, and I'm excited about this match. I think I'm pretty pumped. I'm more pumped about this match now than I was last week when Ospreay attacked Jericho, and we kind of had an idea it was going to be happening.
Yeah, and it's going to be a flipping banger. Jericho and Ospreay.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm telling you, man, they are going to tell a story, and I also like their tones. They weren't like overdoing the promo under. They just had the right tones. Will
Yeah,
Ospreay
they weren't.
was one tone, and it was vicious. It wasn't over the top. It was like perfect. And Jericho's obviously top 5, top 3 greatest promos of all time. So obviously he delivered. So it was just, yeah, good shit.
Yeah,
Sorry, excuse me, good stuff.
Let's, before I go into the more good stuff, let's just get some of the bad stuff out of the way.
All right.
And let's talk about that awkward segment, I guess, featuring your boy Christian Cage. But he wasn't the reason it was bad. It was everything else that happened in it. So we saw a match with Darby Allin and Nick Wayne, apparently, against Swerve Strickland and AR Fox on Dynamite. And it was an okay match. I don't know why they gave us Swerve and AR or Mogul Embassy. Yeah, it was AR Fox and Swerve Strickland right before they're going up against Darby Allin and Sting in a coffin match at All In. So I don't know why they had them facing each other on the go home show of a major show. But anyway, they did, and it was a fun match. It was entertaining. It was what it was. AR Fox took a pin, and after the match, Swerve Strickland got on the microphone and started laughing like hysterically. It was
so weird.
Yeah, all of it was weird, and it was like one of those like demented laughs too, just awkward and bad. And he gets on the mic and saying that this is so disappointing, and everyone's like, what's he talking about? And he was like, by disappointing, I mean Fox. Every time he gets the opportunity of a lifetime, he blows it. And he asked AR Fox why he's such a loser. This was all a test, and he couldn't even beat an 18-year-old child, so he can't trust him. Not in this match, and certainly not in front of 80,000 people at Wembley. So AR Fox was officially fired. He had Prince Nana of Mogul Embassy fire AR Fox from the embassy. Brian Cage appeared out of nowhere and attacked AR Fox. And I don't know what this was all about. I don't know why they had AR Fox turn on Darby Allin and turn heel and join the Mogul Embassy just 4 weeks ago, just to kick him out right before the go home show. And it was really weird. And then Darby Allin came back in and was like, hey, I forgive you for attacking me a few weeks ago, and I love you, and like it was, that whole thing was weird. Then he turns to Swerve Strickland and says, who do you have for London now? And they start laughing, and then out comes Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, and I think they kind of sort of maybe saved the segment a little bit, but I still think the segment went on way too long, way longer than it needed to. But Christian Cage came out and with Luchasaurus, and Christian asked Darby if they were going to introduce Christian to his little friend, which was Nick Wayne. He started going off on Nick Wayne and saying that, I understand you have a father who is dead, and which was Christian Cage making fun of dead people's or dead fathers again, just like he did with Jack Perry. He's never heard of Buddy Wayne before, so he must not have been very good. But the good news is if his dad was such a talentless hack, he doesn't have a lot to live up to. Then the segment just kind of ended from there, and it was just like, it was a little confusing. I was watching and I was like, so is it a 6-man tag match now? Is Christian Cage and Luchasaurus and Swerve Strickland in this match against Darby's Nick Wayne and Sting? Is Christian Cage inserting himself? I think they like announced it after the commercial that it was official that Christian Cage was replacing AR Fox, but it was kind of an awkward transition. And but yeah, this segment went on way much longer than it needed to. It went on a little too long, but I thought Christian Cage brought it again. He is such a wonderful heel, phenomenal heel, and his gimmick of attacking people's dead fathers is, people might find it cringe, but I actually find it entertaining.
I agree, and especially because it's allowed. He ain't doing that stuff without permission. But yes, this was the worst segment by far in all of wrestling this week. Maybe one of the worst segments out. Here's the thing. We talked about it when AR Fox joined, and one night we found out that AR Fox and Darby Allin are besties and they train together and blah, blah, blah. And then we found out And then that same night, probably 30 minutes later, AR Fox turned on Darby Allin and joined the Mogul Embassy. That was 3 weeks ago. And so now 3 weeks later, we have AR Fox who hasn't proved himself yet, who then got kicked out of Mogul Embassy. What the hell? This didn't help AR Fox in any way. It didn't help Mogul Embassy. Did they like backtrack on the idea? I don't know. It was a hot mess. All of it sucked. That promo by Swerve was atrocious. Him basically saying that, you know, his laugh, and then he was stuttering words. I felt like he didn't know what he wanted to say, and then he just went into the corner. And then Brian Cage came out and put the beat down on him, and then Darby comes in for the save and hugs him and kisses him like they're like dating in real life. And it was like, I love you so much. It was like all just bizarre, and it just I was so confused by it. Then Christian Cage comes out and cuts a fire promo, but then him and Swerve are like hugging like they're best friends. Like now it's Christian and Luchasaurus in the Mogul Embassy. It was, I don't know what that, like, did they want Christian and them in the match on All In and just couldn't figure it out? So they just like won this the night of and we're just like, let's just run with it. I don't know what the heck happened, but it was a hot mess. It was stupid. And I think we're all dumber for watching it. So yeah, there you go. I'm not even looking forward to this match at all. I can care less. So at all. Ugh. All right. Let me jump into something that I'm interested in. You ready? You still there? You good? Can you hear me? All right. Got it. So we're going to jump in. I want to jump into House of Black versus the Acclaim. So basically the Acclaim came out and they no shirts on, looking ripped, jacked, just jeans. They run into the ring and they basically call it the House of Black. They're like, turn these damn lights off, get your asses out here. We ain't messing around. They meant business. We got to preview it that on Collision, the House of Black basically threw away Daddy Ass's boots into a cutter. They all got cut up in the boots. And basically House of Black said that Billy Gunn is a shadow of himself when he retired. He's not the man he used to be. And so basically the Acclaimed were tired of it. The lights go out. House of Black comes out. The three of them are in the ring, the four of them, because the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Black is in there as well. She's doing her to Julia Black. They're all in there. They're doing their thing. And they put the beat down on the Acclaimed. And as they're doing the beat down, the Acclaimed music hits. And out comes Daddy Ass for the save. He runs out to the ring, helps them. They get the upper hand. The House of Black exit the ring. And basically, Daddy Ass cuts a promo and says, how dare you guys? You guys, you know, I wanted to beat you guys. We lost you guys twice. I thought I wasn't good enough. So I hung up the boots in this ring. I took them off. I placed them here. And basically that now I want revenge. I want to win those trios titles. I want to get you guys for throwing away my boots, for disregarding my name. And he said, but the problem is Daddy Ass cannot travel to Wembley. So I'm sorry. We have somebody else who's going to wrestle with the Acclaim this week. And he turns around and says, it's going to be Billy Gunn. So badass Billy Gunn is coming back. I don't know what that is. Like pay homage to the late, great Bray Wyatt. It was like a Bray Wyatt Fiend type of thing where I guess he's two different people. But yeah, so he's coming out. It was good stuff. I enjoyed it. And the thing is that now I'm intrigued, right? Because with the promo that House of Black cut on Collision, I was curious on what was going to happen. Because since they said he was a shadow of himself, threw away the boots, it kind of sounded like a turning point. So my thing is, I know we're going to do predictions soon, but I'm wondering is, I think there's only two things that can happen. I know this is going to sound dumb because you're like one woman or one woman win. I get it too. But here it is. It's either going to be the Acclaimed are coming out the new trios champions, which they should. I think they deserve it. And I think Daddy Ass deserves one more run with the championship. Or Daddy Ass turns. And that's why he's a new person. He's badass Billy Gunn. He's no longer Daddy Ass, wink, wink. And that he is going to come back and he is going to turn and cost the Acclaim the trios title and become a member of the House of Black as badass Billy Gunn. He said that he wanted to come back as his old self. I mean, he said he had made history. I mean, in DX and everything he was. Oh, I can hear you. And everything he was, that's who he was. So basically, that's that. I was talking about House of Black and the Acclaim promo. What did you think? And I basically ended it with me saying that they're either going to either the Acclaim win or he turns, and that's why he's badass Billy Gunn again and not daddy ass, because he's turning. Those are the only two options I think that are out. I don't think House of Black just wins clean. I think it's a daddy ass turn or the Acclaim coming out the champs.
I do want to say too, Malachi Black needs to grow his beard back. He looks a lot less intimidating without his beard.
Oh, that's what was off with his face.
Yeah, he didn't usually. I mean, Brody King and Buddy Matthews all have like really long beards, and he like was freshly shaved. Like he was. And yeah, he needs to get his beard back. He looked a lot less intimidating without it. But yeah, I think the Acclaimed. I think you're absolutely right. Those are the only two outcomes. But I personally think I don't think it makes any sense for Billy Gunn to join House of Black unless they tell us what they whispered to Billy Gunn to make him want to retire in the first place, and maybe they have something over him, because why would he turn on them then and not go with his sons in Bullet Club Gold and the gun? Like that's what I don't understand. But curious to see what happens. But I love the segment. I like the surprise return of Billy Gunn.
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. And again, they had a week to build this, and I really didn't think this match was even happening at All In. I thought maybe they could push it out to All Out, and that's why we were getting so much of it on TV, was so they could push it to All Out. But no, they put it on the card at the last minute, and again, they sold me on it. And I want to see it happen, and I'm curious to see what badass Billy Gunn looks like without D-Generation X around him. So it'll be interesting to see for sure.
You better come out the ass man. All right. What's your last thing?
I hope so. Get the rights of that, Tony
Khan. To love them. I love to kiss them. I love to stick them. You ever heard that song? It's pretty.
Oh yeah, it's pretty weird. Yeah. I love to kiss them. Yeah, like
he likes to stick them. Yeah, he likes to do a lot of things to ass mans. All right. Anyway, so teach it so. Whatever, Billy. All right. What's your last thing before we get into prediction time?
Yeah, MJF and Adam Cole. Obviously, we got to end the show. We got to end talking about them. But all night long there were various, Renee Paquette moments. She had a rough night on Dynamite. She got slapped by Eddie Kingston, and she had a bunch of awkward backstage interviews. But she did get to sit down and have a one-on-one interview with both MJF and Adam Cole. MJF is full on babyface right now, and I'm kind of digging it. He cut a really good promo as a babyface. He said that he ended it with, "I'm not just a scumbag, I'm your scumbag." Like, he's still going to be the same old guy he's been, but now he's doing it for the people. I think it's going to be, if they go the route that they're going to go, which I hope they go, I could see him being like the Eddie Guerrero type babyface, where he does heel tactics, but the fans love it, like the lie, cheat, and steal. I could kind of see him taking that, kind of going that way. He's not a scumbag, he's our scumbag. He brought up he talked about WrestleMania. He talked about how this is the biggest headliner in pro wrestling history. And that's insane when you consider everyone who came before him. And he was talking about Rock and Stone Cold and all these wonderful wrestlers. He wasn't he wasn't dogging WWE. He wasn't attacking WWE. He was praising them and raising them up. And now he said that he's standing on the shoulder of giants. And if he wins on Sunday, he might even become a giant himself. And awesome. He said there's a lot of pressure on him, but he's ready for it. Then he kind of got a little, I like the more vulnerable side of MJF too, where he was talking about Adam Cole and how MJF has never had a genuine friend in his life. And that's not him trying to be funny or work him. That's real. And Adam Cole made him a better person in a really short period of time. And you can tell he could, like, based on the character work that he's been doing, if it all is all a ruse, but based on the character work, MJF was a scumbag just in his previous feud. He was paying Sammy Guevara to lie down for him in the Four Pillars match just recently at Double or Nothing. And now here he is, a couple months later, and he's got a heart, he's got a soul, he cares about Adam Cole. Adam Cole has made him a better person in such a short period of time. He ended it with saying that they're not friends, they're brothers. Brothers fight, they're competitive, but they always make up and they hug it out. He gets why people have a hard time trusting him, but if you think about the worst thing you've done in your life, he's probably done it twice. And all that he asks is that we go on this journey and be vulnerable with him. and he promises it'll be rewarding. I mean, full on babyface promo for from MJF, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a great way to, you can always tell when he's kind of acting. I didn't think he was acting. This felt real. This felt legit, and I was digging it.
Well,
then
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because supposedly MJF is like truly a great human being in real life. Like everyone says this is like him being himself. Like he's truly this person. Doesn't have a lot of friends, quiet Jewish dude who like is kind and nice. He's like a funny dude. That's why he's just a good actor, and he knows how. And he's done some passionate promo.
He's done some great interviews too recently, where he was talking about how, I can't remember who he was talking to, but he was talking about all the tribalism that exists between WWE and AEW, and he basically he basically just said, we don't really care backstage. Yeah, we all root for each other. We all want each other to be successful. I watch LA Knight and Cody Rhodes every Friday night, and I want them to do well. Just like I'm sure they watch us and want us to do well. Like, so yeah, you can tell he's like a down to earth, kind, and really good guy. Yeah, and loves wrestling, and that's what we want. That's what we want. So yeah, and he's a damn good actor too. We got to give him props for his acting ability too. Then we get to Adam Cole's backstage interview, and this one was a little flat for me. It was really just kind of your typical. Quick. Yeah, it was quick. Very awkward. But he talked about how his unexpected friendship with MJF, how grateful he is for helping Max find himself again. He didn't get into wrestling with the notion of just being a wrestler. He has to be the best wrestler, and he's won titles all around the globe. But the AEW World Championship is the greatest of them all. He doesn't want to win. He needs to win. He emphasized that. And he gets serious for a moment and says there's no issues between him and Max. And then he's just like, we're done here. And that's the end of the interview. So it was just kind of weird, kind of awkward from Adam Cole. Then they also had an interview with the Kingdom and Roderick Strong. And Roderick Strong is still looking like that lost little puppy that lost his best friend, who's I don't know what,
still broken.
He's got the neck brace on. I don't know what they're doing with that. Maybe he's the glue. Maybe he's the guy that costs MJF, and Adam Cole reunites with him, and they bring back Kyle O'Reilly, and they get that whole gang back together. The Undisputed Era or whatever. So I'd be down for that. Whatever. But it was Adam Cole's promo was awkward, and then the main event was Aussie Open. In a pretty decent match against the Hardy Boys. So, we talked about them in the Rampage breakdown where they needed a big win over Ethan Page and Isaiah Cassidy on Rampage, and they got it. And then they got more shine in the main event of the Go Home show of Dynamite. And it was a good match. One of the guys named in Aussie Open, I didn't realize it, but his name is Dunkzilla, which I think that's like the awesomest name ever. Dunkzilla Davis. But yeah, he got the he got a pinfall on Jeff Hardy. They have they have that nice finisher, the Aussie Arrow. They hit that pinfall. They hit it on Jeff Hardy, retain the tag team championships. There was the one gripe, I don't like it when shows do title matches on go home shows, because there's no chance in hell that Aussie Open is losing to the Hardys. And I know the commentating team was, well, they could spoil the All In plans for MJF and Adam Cole. They were trying to sell it. We all know there's no way in hell that's going to happen. So we don't need to put the titles on the line. You didn't need to make it a title match. You could have just made it a non-title match. But then, after the match, we got to hear Aussie Open on the microphone. They tell the crowd to shut up. That's when they said there's not going to be a kangaroo kick, there's not going to be a double clothesline, and that they are going to retain the tag titles from MJF and Cole. And then out come MJF and Adam Cole, and they brawl with Aussie Open. And Aussie Open got some offense in, and they kind of overpowered Adam Cole and MJF there for a little bit until Cole kind of broke free and took him out. And then they were calling for it, but Aussie Open was able to avoid the double clothesline and the kangaroo kick. Yeah, they both kind of got away from that. So I have a feeling those are going to be the moves that end it at the go home show on the pre-show rather. But MJF and Adam Cole then get face to face. MJF grabs the title, holds it up. He cold shoulders Adam Cole on his way out. he gets the Dynamite Diamond ring out and holds his fist up like, I'll get you. And then they hug it out. And it was, it didn't get me. I'm still amped for the match. I think they did what they had to do. I mean, obviously this has been one of the best built things that AEW has ever done, but I wasn't as hyped about it this week as I was the last couple of weeks, just because it kind of felt a little repetitive. But at the same time, I like that we got some offense from Aussie Open. We got to know them a little bit better. We got to hear them on the mic. We got to see, they got to have some confidence. They got some offense in on the guys who may be the next Ring of Honor champions. I liked it. I thought it was a good way to end the show. And kudos to AEW for getting us intrigued for not just this match, but the Acclaimed and the return of Billy Gunn against House of Black and Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay, because they had a week to sell us on those two, and they delivered. And then they had to deliver in this with MJF and Adam Cole in the go home show, and I think they delivered yet again.
Yeah, for sure, and
made it feel important.
Yeah, we got we're 55 minutes in. I do want to say though that everything I have to say about this has to do with predictions. So I'm going to do most of what I think is going on with the Adam Cole promo compared to the MJF promo when I do my prediction, because I feel like there's a reason to this. But I did want to say, even though the MJF promo was good, really good, and even though the Adam Cole promo was whatever, and they did try to show the backstage heat, which they were trying to do, I think that's what kind of took the steam away. That's the kind of segment you have for last week. And then this week you have, and I know they did bring them out and they had the little thing with Aussie Open, but it was the same thing again. Rinse and repeat. I'm going to punch you. I'm going to turn on you. Let's hug. So they needed something a little bit more impactful. This is still the best thing going on in AEW right now, but I did think this whole thing was kind of like a miss. But when we do our predictions on this main event, I'll go into why I think they did this and why I think it's going to happen. So with that said, are you ready?
I am. Ready? You know what time it is? Do we know what time it is?
Prediction time.
What time is it? Prediction time. What time is it? What time is it?
Prediction time.
Right.
I love it every single time. It's hilarious. All right, you ready? We got like 10 matches to go through. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First one is the only ones technically so far on AEW 0 Hour. We have the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Tag Team Championship, Aussie Open versus Adam Cole and MJF. We're better than you, baby. Who do you got?
MJF and Adam Cole. I think I think it's a foregone conclusion. I think the question isn't who's going to win. I think it's a matter of how do they win. Do they win and then Adam Cole turns, or MJF turns? Do they not turn at all and they turn at the end of the main event? But I think it's a matter of how. I don't think it's if.
Yeah, no, they're winning, and we ain't getting no turn or a loss on the pre-show. This is the 100% the build. If anything's happening, we're getting that in the main event. We ain't getting nothing on the pre-show. They ain't giving that away for free. I am confused, though, because I don't know why they didn't do like WrestleMania 10, where they had Brett Russell Owen number 1, and then Brett Russell Yokozuna in the last match. I don't know why they just didn't have the match 1, but I think this is their way of hyping in hopes they're not getting enough pay-per-view sales. So
do some last-minute sales.
Yeah. All right, let's go into it because this one wasn't on my thing that I pulled up. So let's do Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay. Who you got?
This one's hard. After that promo, but I'm gonna go Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's not losing. I think this is gonna be match of the night. Maybe second match of the night. I don't know, because MJF and Adam Cole will deliver, but I think this is gonna be it's gonna be a banger of a match. And those people that are saying Chris Jericho he can't go and Ospreay's gonna be carrying him, I beg to differ. I think Ospreay's gonna do his thing. Jericho's gonna do his thing, and but I think Ospreay's gonna pull it out.
I guarantee you, Chris Jericho is the lead in this match. He's the one who's dictating it, whispering in the ear. I guarantee he's the one. Will Ospreay is the best in the world right now. I do believe that, but Chris Jericho, I think this will be the best match of the night by far. And I got to go Will Ospreay. The only reason why I think he might not win is because of Don Callis. And maybe he's going to try to interfere. So Jericho, there you go, Y2J. so like they give Y2J the win. I can see Jericho winning, and Jericho always likes to win that first match and then lose at the end.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna build this feud, I got Y2J, but I'm gonna say Will Ospreay.
I do think something's gonna happen.
Something's fishy. Yeah.
I think like maybe Sammy Guevara is gonna turn on Jericho.
That
cost
can
him
happen.
the match and join the Don Callis family, or where he's appreciated and loved. And
you called that. So yeah.
So something's gonna happen in this match, and I think it's
agree.
gonna come at Ospreay's benefit and not Jericho's.
I agree. All right, we got the trios match. We got
one?
We got Kenny. Yeah, I know. We got Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and Ibushi versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and say the name for me. Takeshita. Yeah. That's like a he was a rapper. There was a Takeshita.
MJF called him.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And MJF called him Take a Shitta. So that's
Take a Shitta. That's right. That's right. Yeah. All right. So who do you got?
Talk about double booking and confusing. Don Callis is feuding with Kenny Omega too, and
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. This whole thing started because Kenny Omega or Takeshita and Don Callis attacked Kenny Omega in his interview with JR, but I don't know. I think Takeshita and Juice Robinson and Jay White are going to win. I think it's going to come with shenanigans.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
All right. I have to go with Jay White, Juice Robinson, and take a shit out. That's the only way I'm going to remember his name now. Thank you. Yeah. He's such a good wrestler. I should not.
He is great
him like that. But now you're gonna, and he's just good overall. But I got to go with them because you can't keep having the Bullet Club Gold losing. They can't be like freaking like the Judgment Day. They need to get some wins, and I think Paige and all them can take the L. They don't need it, so I'm gonna go with them as well. So. All right, we got the coffin match next. You ready?
Yep.
We got Sting and Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. Who you got? Is there like, huh? You had one day to think about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this to Swerve and Christian Cage. I think they're gonna take the win. I think Swerve and Christian Cage are gonna win. Christian Cage, he's the TNT champion, so he says. So I think they need the momentum on their side. Swerve Strickland's trying to kind of work his way up the AEW mid card. Sting can lose. Sting hasn't lost in AEW, and I think it's time that he does. And Darby can take an L. So I'm gonna give it to Christian and Swerve.
All right, I'm gonna go Sting and Darby. Swerve lays in the coffin. I think just Darby needs the win just because he's about to wrestle Jungle or Luchasaurus.
You can't have him lose
Luchasaurus a week later, so I think Darby.
That's true. That's a good
Sting.
point.
Yeah. All right, the Stadium Stampede match. You ready? We got Orange Cassidy, Best Friends, Eddie Kingston, and Penta versus Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Santana, and Ortiz. The returning. Super surprising out of nowhere. I didn't even know they were a tag team anymore, and I thought one of them were fired from AEW. I don't even know what happened, but they're back, and they put a pretty bad beat down on Dynamite, but they're back. Who do you got? This is kind of I think it's obvious, but it's a crazy one.
Yeah, the BCC's winning. BCC, Santana, Ortiz. You don't bring them back just to have them lose. Although they did bring Pac back recently, and they lost.
Yeah.
But no, you're not going to have BCC and Santana Ortiz lose. And they just lost the Blood and Guts. They need a win. I don't really care about this match, and it's unfortunate because I love Orange Cassidy, and it's mind-boggling to me that the international championship is not being defended internationally. It's like that. I don't understand why they're doing that. Why he's stuck in this match.
Yeah, I don't understand either. And I know Eddie Kingston isn't relevant anymore either.
No.
So I don't see him being the difference maker. I don't see anybody else getting a pin. So yeah, I agree. I'm going with the BCC, Santana, and Ortiz. All right, we're up for our first title match of the night.
Bring it.
The real World Championship. We got the real World Champion CM Punk defending against Samoa Joe. Who you got?
CM Punk's winning. CM Punk is he's going to win, and he's going to be in a title match in Chicago the very next week at All Out. So they're not going to have him. They're not going to have him lose to Samoa Joe.
I agree. Like in any way, shape, or form. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it's totally going to be CM Punk. We'll see what Ricky Starks does to kind of interfere his way if he does. AEW World Trios Championship. This was just announced. We got the Acclaimed and Badass Billy Gunn versus the House of Black, the champs. Who you got?
I'm going with the Acclaimed and Badass Billy Gunn. I think this is their time. The House of Black, they need to move on to other things. They need to go and be dominant and just kick ass. They don't need the titles. The Acclaimed and the Badass Billy Gunn, they need the belts. And this is be a good way for them for Billy Gunn to officially retire. You know, he can retire as a champion. This can be the retirement tour. He rides off into the sunset soon. But give him, I think the Acclaimed they need championship gold. They're better when they're champions, and
yes,
you're not putting them in the tag team title picture for whatever reason. So let them win the trios titles. And I think this match is going to be good too.
I agree. I think the Acclaim need to win. I'm going to go with a Badass Billy Gunn turn and House of Black wins and he joins. I'm going to go with that. This is going to rejuvenate his career and he'll become their like person with Julia Hart. And we'll go from there. And the Acclaim go back to the tag team titles. I know he doesn't fit.
The merch and the money.
I know because Daddy asked. I'm wearing the shirt right now. That's why I wore it just in case. Once again, I'm going to go with it because you have to. I feel like my predictions are too predictable sometimes, and I don't get them right. There's always a swerve. That's why I'm saying it. I want the Acclaim to win. They deserve to be the championship. We'll have way more fun, but that's what I think. All right, we're going to go World's Heavyweight Championship. You ready? We got the champ Sheeta versus DMD Britt Baker versus Soraya versus Tony Storm. Are you going with the odds? What are you going with? Who do you got?
This one is the hard one for me. I think Britt Baker's going to pull it off. I think she's gonna leave with the women's championship. I don't hate your idea of her turning and joining the Outcasts, and she's the one leading the charge, and she has the championship. Maybe they kick Tony Storm or Ruby out or something, and she's takes over. I don't know, but I think Britt Baker. We've gone without her being the champion now for quite a while. I think she needs to have one more run as the AEW Women's Champion.
Yeah.
And I think now's the time to do it.
I think it's like she'd have just won this belt, but she's such a forgettable champ right now. And why give it right back to Tony Storm if she lost it a few weeks ago?
And Soraya, I don't think Soraya's ready.
No, she's not. So you know what? My heart says Sheeta because it makes sense, but I'll go with you. Let's go Britt Baker. She's my favorite women's wrestler, so let's go Britt Baker. All right. Tag team champions, FTR champs versus the Young Bucks. Who you got?
I think the Young Bucks are going to do this. I think they're going to pull it off. And this has nothing to do with the Cash Wheeler arrest or anything like that with his legal troubles that he's in, which we haven't really talked about very much. But I just think the Young Bucks, I think, what is it, 1-1? And this is FTR Young Bucks 3. So I think the Young Bucks they've been away from the tag team title picture now for a while. They were in the trios title hunt, then they were in the feud with the BCC. I think the Young Bucks are gonna pull this one off.
All right. I'm going Young Bucks too, but I'm going for the reason you said it wasn't. I think a week ago was FTR. I think it is the Young Bucks now because of Cash Wheeler, and I think they need to settle that, and FTR is going to disappear for a minute, which is going to cripple CM Punk and that Collision cards nowadays because they were a big attraction. But I'm going to go the Young Bucks. I think they're just going to give it to them, and we'll see where it goes from there. So
yeah. I mean, I could also see them doing what they did with the Acclaimed and putting CMFTR in the trios title hunt now that they're no longer tag team champions. But,
true that.
So
we can see.
But either way, I think the Young Bucks are winning.
All right, while we're all here, the AEW World Championship match: MJF the champ versus Adam Cole, baby. Who do you got?
You know, I think MJF's winning, and I don't think there's going to be a turn. Not here. I think they're gonna build this up a little bit more, but I think MJF's going to pull the victory out. And the reason why I say that is because I think the main event at All Out the next week is going to be CM Punk versus MJF, and they're going to unify those titles.
Already, wow!
Because Punk's been taking shots at MJF since he came back, talking about I won the dog collar match, and Maxie doesn't want me to have this championship, and MJF has ignored him, and I think I think CM Punk is going to be the real world champion. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense to do CM Punk and Adam Cole right now. I think it makes sense to do MJF and CM Punk if you have a week to build it. MJF was the guy that came out at the end of All Out last year when he was the Joker and he stared down CM Punk before he ran his mouth at a press conference. So yeah, I think it's going to be CM Punk and MJF at All Out, and therefore MJF is going to be Adam Cole. And maybe at All Out, that's when Adam Cole turns and costs MJF the championship.
So this is where I was getting at. So I think MJF wins as well. I think these promos said it. MJF's a babyface now, and Adam Cole is obviously turning heel. He can't hide his emotions. He keeps wanting to turn. He got upset. Usually when you get defensive at something, that usually means that the person's right. So you're getting defensive. So that's what they're leading to. It just smells like it. And I think what's going to put Adam Cole over the edge is him losing, and that's going to make him turn on MJF. I think it's here, and I don't think it's going to happen this night either, because they're going to be the tag team champs. I think in their first defense against whoever they are, I think that's when Adam Cole turns, and he's going to bank MJF and walk away and cost them the tag team titles, and it's going to start their feud, and then Adam Cole will probably win the belt as a heel. So that's where I'm going. I don't think they're doing the CM Punk thing yet. I think they want CM Punk to be a fake champion, so Collision has a champion. So so I'm going to go MJF in that turn. So that's where I'm going with it. That's what I was getting at with that thing, because I feel like that's what it's all about. So I think they're just hitting at Adam Cole turning due to jealousy.
Yeah, I think we agreed on almost all of those.
Every single one, just about. Yeah,
just about. I picked Swerve and Christian winning.
Yeah,
and you picked Darby winning. But
Darby,
I think everything else we got. We were pretty close. So
we'll see. You're gonna watch it live? Yeah.
I would like to. If my children cooperate.
1 o'clock's hard. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was it. That was an AEW week, man. We did it. Once again, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. You're in our hearts. You're in everyone's hearts. And I look forward to All In. I'm excited. Let's see how full the stadium is. Let's see what it does. And I look forward to talking about it next week and seeing how off or perfect we were. So as always, I'm Mr. MWO, the dude of Wrestle Talk. Keep subscribing, keep following, keep tuning in. And with me, as always, is
the honorary dude, Mr. Shooting Star Press. Hit us up if you agree with the take from the show. If you want to give us your predictions, if you want to share your opinions with us, email us. We have an email address: 2dudeswithattitudespodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear from you, and maybe we'll do a segment called Mailbag one day and read fan mail.
Do it.
And you guys can bash us and whatever you want, but be nice. Just do it in a kind way. And then we're also WWE affiliates on the WWE shop. So go and buy some WWE merch and help support the show. All the proceeds that WWE just released, all the proceeds are going towards Bray Wyatt's fiance and his children. All the net proceeds that they get if you buy Bray Wyatt merch. So
awesome.
go to our affiliate link and go support Bray Wyatt and his family and everything, because Lord knows they need it right now. 36 years old, still so young. And then continue following us on YouTube, Spotify, Twitch, Apple, everywhere you get your podcasts. We're, like you said, we're blowing up. And
yes, we are.
This is we're going to be back to regular time next week, and back to the day.
Yes, we are back to the morning. Let's do it. 2 dudes, whoop back.
We're out. Enjoy all
with the attitudes. Let's go on the Friday. You know what it is, man. They came to handle biz. 2 dudes with attitudes.